And as we begin to look closer, the layers of this country slowly unfold. At first, you notice the scale. Endless buildings, wide roads filled with movement, crowds that seem to flow like a river through the city. But then, something shifts. Within that movement, there is structure. Within that noise, there is rhythm. Nothing feels completely out of control. Everything moves with purpose. And hidden inside this vastness are moments of quiet. A man carefully pouring tea in a small shop. A grandmother watching children play in a courtyard. A street corner where life feels unchanged, even as everything around it evolves. China is not just fast. It is not just modern. It is layered, deeply layered. In one direction, you find history, ancient traditions, preserved rituals, stories passed down through generations. In another, you see the future, technology, innovation, a constant push forward. And somehow, both exist together. Not perfectly, but naturally. People here move between these worlds every day, using smartphones to pay for meals, then sitting down to recipes that have existed for centuries, living in high-rise apartments while holding on to values shaped long ago. This balance is not forced, it is lived. And then there are the people. Millions of lives, each carrying its own story. Students chasing opportunity, workers building stability, families creating routines within busy environments. There is effort in every day, but also meaning. Because life here is not only about speed, it is about direction. You begin to notice small details. The way strangers stand in line quietly. The way conversations pause with respect. The way people adapt to change without losing themselves completely. There is energy, yes, but also discipline, a kind of focus that keeps everything moving forward. Technology plays its role in shaping this life. Screens glow in hands. Digital systems connect everything: transport, payments, communication. Life becomes faster, more efficient, but even then, the human side remains. Markets still exist. Meals are still shared. Moments of silence still find their place. Because beyond the systems, there are people. And people need more than speed. They need connection, space, breathing room. And in China, these moments appear in unexpected ways. A quiet walk at night, a shared laugh over a simple meal, a pause in the middle of a busy day. So as we move forward in this journey, one thing becomes clear. China is not just a country you observe. It is a feeling you slowly understand, a rhythm you begin to hear only when you listen closely, not just to the noise, but to the spaces in between, because that is where the real story lives, and that is where we begin. And as the light grows stronger, the pace of the morning gently rises with it. Shops begin to open one by one. Metal shutters lift, lights flicker on. A new layer of sound joins the air, not loud, but steady. Inside small restaurants, preparation is already in motion. Hands move quickly, dough is shaped, broth simmers. Every action feels practiced, repeated over years, almost instinctive. Customers arrive in a quiet stream. Some sit, some take their food to go. There is little delay. Everything flows. On the streets, the rhythm becomes more defined. Cars move in steady lines. Electric scooters glide past, nearly silent. Pedestrians cross with purpose, yet without panic. Even in crowded intersections, there is a kind of understanding, an invisible coordination that keeps everything moving. Office buildings begin to fill. Elevators rise and fall. Desks come to life. Screens glow softly in the early light. Colleagues greet each other with brief nods or quiet words. Work begins not with noise, but with focus. In schools, classrooms slowly settle. Students take their seats, books open, voices soften into attention. There is structure here, but also familiarity, a routine that feels known, almost comforting. And still, within all this movement, there are pauses. A man stands by the roadside finishing his tea. A woman adjusts her bag, taking a breath before entering a building. An elderly couple walks slowly, untouched by the growing pace around them. These moments exist quietly, but they are everywhere. In residential areas, laundry hangs from balconies catching the morning air. Neighbors pass each other with small acknowledgments. Life continues in layers, private and public, fast and slow. In smaller towns, this transition feels softer. The rush never fully arrives. Bicycles pass through narrow streets. Local shops open with familiar faces. Time stretches just a little longer. But even here, the connection to the larger world remains. Phones ring, deliveries arrive. Change is always present, even in stillness. As the sun rises higher, the morning becomes day. The calm does not disappear. It simply blends into the movement. Because in China, mornings are not just about beginnings. They are about preparation, alignment, a quiet gathering of energy before the full weight of the day unfolds. There is discipline in it, but also a kind of grace, a balance between what must be done and how it is done. And perhaps that is what makes these mornings unique. They are not rushed without thought. They are not slow without purpose. They exist somewhere in between, where millions of people move forward together, yet still carry their own rhythm, their own space, their own quiet beginning. And in that balance, the day truly begins. Movement continues long after the morning rush fades. The rhythm does not stop, it simply changes. Streets remain alive with purpose, each hour carrying its own pattern of motion. Office buildings fill with quiet concentration. Elevators rise and fall, bringing waves of workers to different floors. Inside, keyboards click, phones ring, and meetings begin on time. There is a sense of order that guides the day. At midday, the pace softens slightly. Restaurants become busy as people step out for lunch. Steam rises from bowls of noodles, rice dishes are served quickly, and conversations fill the air. Even in this break, movement continues. After lunch, some offices dim their lights for a short rest. Heads lean back, eyes close, and for a brief moment, stillness takes over. It does not last long, but it matters. It restores energy for the hours ahead. By late afternoon, the city begins to shift again. Schools finish and students pour out into the streets. Shops grow busier and delivery drivers move quickly between destinations. Packages are loaded, unloaded, and sent on their way. As evening approaches, transportation systems fill once more. Subways become crowded again, yet the flow remains steady. People stand in lines, board in order, and settle into their spaces. The routine repeats, familiar and dependable. Night brings a different kind of movement. Streets glow with lights, and markets open with fresh energy. Food stalls sizzle as vendors prepare meals for long lines of customers. Friends gather to talk, laugh, and unwind. In entertainment districts, music plays and crowds drift from one place to another. The pace is lively, yet relaxed. It is movement without urgency, guided more by enjoyment than necessity. Late at night, the city does not fully sleep. Cleaning crews begin their work, preparing spaces for the next day. Trains continue to run, though less frequently, carrying those who are still on the move. Even in quieter hours, there is a sense that everything is connected. Each action supports another, forming a system that rarely pauses. It is not just about speed, but about coordination. People learn to move with this rhythm. They adjust their steps, their timing, and their expectations. Over time, it becomes natural, almost instinctive. And within this constant motion, individuals still find their own pace. A quiet walk home, a slow meal, a moment of reflection on a busy train. These small pauses give meaning to the movement. They remind people that even in a system so vast, personal moments still exist. In China, movement is not only about getting somewhere, it is about living within the flow itself, adapting to its changes, and finding balance between motion and rest. This balance is what allows the system to thrive. It supports millions of lives moving together each day. Without it, the pace would feel overwhelming. With it, there is harmony hidden within the speed. Every journey becomes part of a larger story, one that never truly ends, but continues forward with quiet determination each day.
Food in China is more than nourishment. It is culture. It is identity. It is connection. Meals are often shared, dishes placed at the center of the table. Everyone takes a little of everything. This creates a sense of togetherness. Flavors are diverse, spicy, sweet, sour, savory. Each region has its own style. In the north, you'll find noodles and dumplings. In the south, rice and lighter dishes. Street food is a big part of daily life. Quick, flavorful, and affordable. From steamed buns to grilled skewers, food is always close by. Tea is also important. It is not just a drink, it is a ritual, a moment to pause, to reflect. Culture in China is deeply rooted in history. Traditions are respected. Festivals are celebrated with meaning. Family plays a central role. Respect for elders is strong. At the same time, modern life is evolving quickly. Technology is everywhere. Mobile payments, digital apps, online services, daily life is highly connected. Yet, even with rapid change, traditions remain. Old and new exist together, not perfectly, but continuously, and that contrast defines life here. Food also carries stories, recipes passed down through generations, grandparents teaching children with patience, measurements often by feeling, a pinch of salt, a splash of soy. Cooking becomes memory in motion. Markets are alive with color, fresh vegetables stacked in neat rows, fish still moving in shallow tanks, vendors calling out prices, the air filled with aromas, garlic sizzling in hot oil, chilies releasing their heat, ginger adding sharpness. Eating is rarely rushed. Meals are moments to slow down, to talk, to listen, to reconnect. Even simple meals feel intentional. A bowl of noodles can comfort. A hot shared hot pot can bring laughter. Chopsticks move rhythmically, hands reaching without hesitation. There is trust in sharing. Balance is important, not just in flavor, but in life. Hot and cold foods, yin and yang ideas. Health connected to what is eaten. Food can heal or harm, so choices matter. Festivals bring special dishes, dumplings during the new year, mooncakes in autumn. Each bite carries symbolism, luck, prosperity, togetherness. Modern cities add new layers. International flavors mix with tradition. Coffee shops next to tea houses, fast food beside family kitchens. Young people experiment, old recipes adapt. Still, the heart remains. Food is a way to belong, to remember where you come from, and to share that with others. At any table, there is a story waiting to be tasted. That is the quiet power of food. It connects strangers. It softens differences. A meal can open conversations, can build understanding. In busy cities and small towns alike, food remains constant, changing in form, but not in meaning. Through every season, every celebration, every ordinary day, there is always a place for food, on the table, in the heart, and in the rhythm of life. These moments linger long after the meal ends, in memory, in feeling, in quiet gratitude for what was shared and what continues through every generation across time and changing worlds.
Nature in China is vast, diverse, powerful. From mountains and rivers to forests and rural landscapes, natural beauty stretches across the country. In cities, green spaces offer moments of relief. Parks become places of gathering, exercise, relaxation. People walk, dance, play games, or simply sit together. In free time, many seek nature. Short trips, weekend travel, a break from the city's intensity. Mountains and scenic areas attract visitors year-round. There is movement, but also appreciation, a desire to step away, even briefly. Nature becomes a contrast, a reminder that beyond the speed of life, there is still quiet, still space, still balance waiting to be found. Seasons shape the experience. Spring brings blossoms and soft colors. Summer carries heat and heavy air. Autumn cools the land with golden tones. Winter quiets everything beneath a pale sky. Each season changes the rhythm, not just of nature, but of people. Early mornings in parks feel timeless. Elderly groups moving slowly in unison, breathing deeply, following practiced motions. Younger generations pass by. Some pause, some continue. Life flows in layers. Rivers move steadily, unconcerned with urgency. Mountains stand unmoved, holding silence within them. In these places, time feels different, slower, wider, more forgiving. Even a short visit can shift perspective. A moment away becomes something more, a reset, a return. Nature teaches without speaking. Patience, endurance, balance. It asks for nothing but gives space to think, to feel, to exist without pressure. Community in China is both large and close. Cities are crowded, but within them, smaller communities exist. Neighbors recognize each other. Local shops create familiarity. Daily interactions build quiet connections. Morning greetings, shared routines, small gestures that repeat. Over time, they matter. Apartment buildings become worlds of their own. Hallways filled with passing lives. Doors closing and opening. Stories unfolding behind each one. Outside, streets carry a rhythm. Vendors setting up early, regular customers returning, faces becoming known, trust building slowly. Traditions remain important. Festivals bring families together. Celebrations are filled with meaning, food, and shared time. Lanterns glow. Fireworks echo in the distance. Laughter carries through narrow streets. Even those far from home find ways to connect. Video calls, messages, a shared moment across distance. Respect, discipline, and social harmony shape behavior. People understand their role within a larger system. This creates order, continuity, a sense of stability, even when life feels uncertain. There is structure beneath it, unspoken but understood. You see it in how people move, cue, wait, adjust to one another. Not always perfectly, but consistently. Community here is not always loud. It does not demand attention. It exists in routine, in presence, in quiet support. A neighbor watching over a child, a shopkeeper remembering a preference, a stranger offering brief help. These moments pass quickly, but they build something lasting. Even as society changes, these values remain, adapting, shifting, but not disappearing. New generations carry them differently, less visible perhaps, but still there. Community here is not always visible on the surface, but it is present, strong, and deeply rooted, like nature itself, enduring, quietly shaping everything around it.
China is a country of contrasts, speed and stillness, tradition and innovation, crowds and quiet moments. Life here is not simple. It is layered, complex, constantly moving. And yet, within that movement, there is rhythm. People adapt. They find balance in small ways. A morning exercise, a shared meal, a quiet cup of tea. These moments create meaning. Beyond the scale, beyond the noise, there is a human story, one of resilience, connection, and change. Cities rise higher, lights grow brighter, technology moves faster each day. But beneath it all, something older remains, a sense of continuity, of roots that are not easily lost. Families gather, stories are passed down, values are remembered even as lifestyles evolve. In the rush of progress, people still pause, to breathe, to reflect, to belong. Because growth is not only about moving forward, it is also about holding on, to identity, to culture, to each other. There is a quiet strength in that balance, not perfect, not always easy, but real. You see it in everyday life, in markets and metros, in villages and skyscrapers, in laughter shared between generations, in silence understood without words. China does not offer simple answers. It presents questions, living ones, changing ones. What does it mean to grow without losing yourself? How do you honor the past while building the future? Where is the line between progress and peace? Perhaps there is no single answer. Only moments, only choices, only the ongoing effort to create harmony in a world that rarely stands still. And maybe that is the lesson, that meaning is not found in stopping the movement, but in learning how to move with it, with awareness, with intention, with heart. As you step away from this journey, carry that thought with you, not just about China, but about life itself. Because in many ways, this story is universal, a reflection of the world we are all part of. Still searching, still changing, still becoming. And that is what makes it extraordinary.